everyone. Good morning and welcome to another engaging episode of The Conversation on your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. And of course, I'm bringing you the show from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. My name is Ade Suwasi. Today on The Conversation, we're going to be looking at the ineffectiveness of youth wings of political parties in Nigeria. The youth in Nigeria actually make up, 70%, about 70% of the population. And every political party in Nigeria has a youth wing. And that's largely because youth involvement and participation in politics is very preeminent to, governance and elective processes in the country. But despite that reality, there's still I think personally, I do believe that the youth wings of political parties have largely been dormant, not necessarily encouraging for the ever clamor for more youth participation in politics. There's a lot of questions to be asked to that regard, and I do hope my guest in the studio will help answer most of that question. So join me in having that conversation this morning in the studio is the coordinator North of the APC Youth Stakeholders Forum, Muhammad Aliyu Mijinyawa. Good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Adesra.
It's a pleasure to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here as well.
Okay. Now let's move straight into it. Going by everything I said earlier about the youth wing of political parties, you belong to the All Progressive Congress, that's the APC, the youth wing of that party. And going by that, I personally believe that the youth wings of political parties, especially the APC, which is largely the ruling party in Nigeria, are majorly a figurehead. And why is that?
Well, thank you very much for having me once again, Adesra. The most important thing in every society, not just a political party, is cooperation.
Okay.
And I think the youth we have been, we haven't been, have maybe a common ground. We've always had our differences. As for the elders of the party, they've always managed those differences they have. While in terms of the youth wing of the party, we always have different opinions, different ideologies, different mindsets. So I think that's one of the major factors that is playing a role in, why the youth are not being dormant. Because if you don't get the necessary cooperation you want in any political party, as the youth, you won't have that capacity, that avenue, as important stakeholders, of every political party. So I think cooperation is the number one thing. And the second thing, I think the youth, some of us have been, privileged to get some opportunities.
Okay.
We have, some of us are in fact, we have a governor who is a youth as well. So, but I think largely, if you look at most of the youth in those positions, occupying those positions, they haven't been representing the youth constituency well. Because, they said, you lead by, you lead by example. Yeah. So these examples, these people representing the youth who are occupying these political offices, they haven't been doing well. In fact, the elders have been doing much better than the youth. So for that reason, so many people lost that, zeal to support the youth, because they feel like some of these youth have been given the opportunity and they've not been doing the right thing. Okay. So I think these are some of the factors playing a role in terms of the youth not having, that power, that bargaining power.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think that, going by everything that you said, they, not having a united front amongst, youth in political parties, do you think elders in the party have seen that and have decided to exploit that to their own advantage, and that's maybe one of the reasons why you have maybe that much number of young people, but they don't have a voice? Do you think that's why it is?
Yeah, exactly. That's why it is, because different youth, for instance, we have youth engaging themselves in thuggery, youth utilizing their potentials and doing the right thing. So we have different types of youth. In fact, we're all youth, but we all have different ideologies and mindsets. So when you break us down, this takes that angle and that person takes that angle. So it doesn't give us that united front we want, and that gives the leaders, the elders, an advantage over us. So I think that's the case.
So what is now the function or the work or responsibility of the youth leaders? Because I know that every political party has the youth wing, and then the youth wing have leaders across all zones, and then there's a national youth leader. So the function or the responsibility of a leader is to ensure that all of these loops are covered.
Of course.
Right? So if the loops are still showing, does that not mean that the leaders have been ineffective in their own way too?
Well, judging by my own political party, we had a convention on March. That's about 2 months ago. So we have a new youth leader who is really trying, because he has given so many youth groups listening ears, and he takes pieces of advice from different youth groups and youth organizations. But that is the effort, that is the energy we are trying to invest in seeing that the youth, we have a united front, because these leaders have been taking advantage of us. For instance, if you take a look at the recent concluded primaries, both the APC and the PDP, majority of the youth, in fact 80% of the youth I know, who are my friends and people I know, have not been able to secure another their seats. And those youth who are vying for political offices, new, fresh aspirants, they haven't gotten that opportunity of securing those seats as well. And why is that? Because we don't have that cooperation, like I said, we don't have that united front. So the most important thing is for us to be well cooperated, to be mannered, and for us to have a common ground and say, look, they've been taking advantage of us for a very long time, and we have to speak up for ourselves. But we cannot be going right and some of us be going left. That is the exactly advantage they are taking over us. So we just need to be, if you say this is A, then A should be it, and that's how the case should be.
So what do you think is causing this disparity in interest and disunity among the youth? Why, if I'm joining a political party as a young person, I feel like every one of us should have a common interest. We want to make impact and want to make our voice heard, and eventually we want to also maybe be a part of the government. That's supposed to be like a common interest. That's why any young person would join a political party. So why do you think that there's a disparity in interest and lack of unity amongst young persons?
Very good question. Well, ideally, that's how it's supposed to be. But the reality is some of us join these political parties because we want to bring change, because we want to contribute a quota to the development of our party and the country at large. But some of us join political parties for, they see it as a money-making avenue. So so they join a political party for that motive. So if we want to make a change and then you want to make money, then we will always be divided. Now the most there's one thing that is happening in the entire country. It has been there for long. What is called institutional decay. The system has been corrupt, from the top to the bottom. The system has been corrupt in such a way that every person, most of these youth see money as the only reason why they join political parties, and that is exact problem we are facing. Because if you see money as a way, if you see politics as a way of making money, that means that money is what comes to your mind first before contributing, to the development of your country. So that is why we are always divided. But that is the exact thing we have been advocating for. We need to bring the change, and when the change comes, there is going to be reform in the economy, there's going to be security, and then people can have stability, jobs and everything. And, that is much better for us for the long-term benefit.
I am out of time, but I quickly wanted to keep this said. What solution do you have in mind? What do you think is the solution to all of this? In like a minute. Well,
quickly, I think the youth that are united, we just need to see how we can secure a table, we can secure a seat on the table, to have a bargaining, power. Tell them we're going to contribute to your re-election or whatever it is, but we want you to give us this and that.
Okay.
And then when we get to that point, we utilize that opportunity that we have for the younger ones and for the, you know, the majority of us.
Okay.
So I think that's actually the solution. The people that are, you know, cooperated, you know, that's your bargaining power.
Yeah.
You're cooperated and you can deliver. So that's your bargaining power. So you tell the government, all right, we're going to help you, but in return, we want you to give us a seat on the table as well. So when they choose the right people, you know, the people like us, when they choose the right people, that is where we'll start bringing the change, because you always have to be part of the system for you to bring the change you want.
Yeah, okay.
So,
thank you so much, Mohammed, for sharing your thoughts with me in the conversation this morning.
Thank you very much, Edisra. I really appreciate your time.
Yes, you're welcome.
Okay.
And thank you for joining me on the conversation this morning. Do not forget that the conversation comes to you every weekday, Mondays to Friday, same time, same channel. But you can also join the conversation across our social media platforms. It's TOS TV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to TOS TV Network on YouTube. Yes, that's the channel to subscribe to. And of course, you can stream our website, www.tostvnetwork.com, for news, stories, and happenings from across the world. Thank you again. My name is Ade Sowelsi. Please join me again tomorrow.